Here we have two plays from last night's game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics, which really goes to show the importance of communication and a detailed approach when it comes to guarding some of the best shooters in the NBA. So the play starts with LeBron James right here, bringing the ball across half court. And as that happens, his teammate Tristan Thompson is going to go set a wide pin down for Kyle Korver. Now at this point, Jason Tatum of the Celtics, who's guarding Korver, has two choices. The first is he can top lock Korver, and that means he's going to get in Korver's way and force him to backdoor cut. So if Korver tries to come over the screen, Tatum is going to physically block him. So Korver really only has one option, which is to come here and cut out the weak side. Now, there's an important piece of communication here because if Tatum top locks Korver and Daniel Theis, who's guarding Tristan Thompson, doesn't sink down here, then Korver's really getting a free cut to the rim, and LeBron can just fire this pass down the middle of the floor. So Theis has to sink down on the communication, and these two players have to be in sync. Now, the other choice is Tatum can lock and trail Korver, which means he stays behind him and attached, pushing him over the screen. Now, at this point, it's really important that Tatum doesn't lose contact because Korver can spring free since he's naturally trailing him towards the ball, making this pass easier. And another thing that's important is Theis has to stay up near the three-point line because as Korver comes around this screen, if he gets any type of separation, you're looking at a catch-and-shoot three. So Theis has to stay up. Now, the one thing that could be a danger is Tristan Thompson slipping to the rim. But the Celtics are more worried about this catch-and-shoot three. So if LeBron wants to fire this nearly impossible pass on a slip, or Korver catches it and throws it to Thompson, the weak side will rotate and Boston will figure it out. Now, as we can see on the play, Korver gets some separation here because he's really good at this. Notice how he stays slow and then explodes, slow, and explodes, using his hands to push off Tatum. Here it is again. Slow, explode, push off, catch and shoot shot. Now what goes wrong here? We can see that as Korver comes off the screen, Theis is staying low. He's really more concerned with Thompson. Now this is a big problem because Korver is one of the best shooters in the NBA. Now there is a third component to guarding pin downs like these, which is known as a meeting of three. So basically we have 1, 2 defenders guarding it, but you could have a third stunting off of the passer towards the shooter. But the problem is, look at LeBron. Notice how he throws the pass right as he crosses half court, even before Korver has released from Tatum. He knows that he's about to push off here, so he anticipates the pass by throwing it early, giving Boston little time to react and making it impossible for Smart to guard this. Korver springs free. Tatum gets a late contest, but it's still not enough. Theis is way too off the three-point line, and there's a three-point field goal for Cleveland. Now let's look at almost an identical play from 30 seconds later, which Theis is going to have to guard again. So Thompson is going to set this pin down for Korver, and this time he's going to be guarded by Terry Rozier. Marcus Smart once again is guarding LeBron at the top. So as LeBron crosses half court, we can see Korver's already gotten separation from Rozier. Look at how now he's staying attached and slow, Rozier clearly showing he's in a lock and trail. So Korver lets him get into his body, making him think that he's got him all covered up. But then in an instant, he pushes off and gets free. Now Theis is very concerned with this three-point shot because remember in the last possession, he gave this one up. So right on the catch, you can see Theis has got high hands ready to help off of this lock and trail. Marcus Smart tries to make the stunt. Remember, last time he couldn't quite get there. But once again, we can see he's way too late to help off of this. LeBron throwing this pass out here basically takes Smart out of the play. Now, this result is exactly what Boston wants. They don't want Thompson getting free to the rim, but they don't want Korver shooting this shot either. So what happens is Korver, who's used to this type of tight lock and trail defense, throws this immediate pocket pass to Thompson. Boston gets what it wants, with Horford realizing what's happening and rotating over to trap the box. So at this point, Jason Tatum's got two players on the weak side, Kevin Love and Dwayne Wade. But he can see that Thompson really has no way of throwing this pass to Wade, so he locks in on Love as soon as the ball is thrown. Now, one thing that could have been a problem is if Wade stayed here. You get swing, swing, open three-point shot. And even though Wade is not a great three-point shooter, he can still knock down wide open ones. But the problem is we can see Wade starts to cut. So right as Tatum gets on top of Love, there's really no passing angle for Love here to make this pass. Horford is here, Marcus Smart has sunk in, and so this cut really sort of allows Boston to stay matched up. Now imagine here, if we stop it here, we can see Tatum would go here, Marcus Smart would go here, Terry Rozier would go here, and then Theis would go out to Korver. Everyone would be guarded, but you'd be in a lot of mismatches and you'd force a lot of rotations. But this one Wade cut, even though it's done with good intentions, actually allows Horford to guard Wade and puts everyone back in their regular matchups. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with barely any rotations. So you've got a mismatch here, but otherwise you're okay. Tatum on Love isn't so bad when it's out on the three-point line. Now as the ball is kicked out, we can see Rozier closes with a high hand and pushes him baseline. So it really appears that they've stopped that pin down from succeeding. But this is the problem with guarding such elite three-point shooters, and Korver in particular, because he's such a good cutter and always looking for flare screens and pin downs to fly off of, even if they're not designed by head coach Ty Lue. So he swings the ball here and just looks to come off a random flare screen from Tristan Thompson. Now here's our first mistake of the possession. Rozier goes underneath this flare, which really doesn't seem like a problem here because how is LeBron going to fit a pass in here? Probably not. But because he goes underneath this screen, Korver, who's really smart, reads it and comes back to the ball. Now one other point on this under here. Once he goes under, notice how Theis has to take a step to go open up space for Rozier to go under. So Rozier goes under, Theis goes even lower, which means when Korver pops back towards the ball, there's no way Theis can get up to the three-point line to contest the shot. So this one tiny mistake opens up Korver for a three-point shot. And we can even hear the whole play, Brad Stevens yelling out, stay attached, and what happens? Rozier doesn't, and Korver gets an open three-point shot. Now let's watch it in full with the sound on.